Hi everyone. I am back for another Tuesday night Choose Your Own Adventure reading. Tonight I'm going to be reading The Curse of Battersea Hall by Richard Brightfield. It's Choose Your Own Adventure number 30, and it's illustrated by Ted Enoch. Here's the cover art. All right, and I'll read the back cover. Can you escape the curse of Battersea Hall? You've come to England to visit your cousin Amanda at Battersea Hall. When you learn that the hall is under the spell of an evil woman named Lady Darkness, you decide to help Amanda escape. You're making your plans when you hear voices in the next room. You and Amanda are going to be captured and delivered to Lady Darkness that very night. What should you do? If you decide to leave Amanda while you go for help, turn to page 90. If you decide that the two of you should escape together, turn to page 92. Remember, there's danger around every corner. If you're lucky, you might save Amanda and stop the curse. If you're not, you could end up in a gloomy dungeon forever. Hi, Stephanie. What happens next in the story? It all depends on the choices you make. How does the story end? Only you can find out. And the best part is that you can keep reading and rereading till you've had not one, but many incredibly daring experiences. Hi, Beth. And there's the art on the back cover. All right, and hopefully I don't do too much throat clearing. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat, but getting over it. All right, kids can't stop reading the Choose Your Own Adventure stories, and it's the same kids as usual reading these stories. Commenting on these stories and giving their reviews of these stories. Yeah, no, I don't think we should leave Amanda by herself either. Doesn't sound like a good idea. And then teachers like to Choose Your Own Adventure books as well. I think they always do. All right. All right, and this was originally published in March 1984 to Ron Buell, wherever that is. Warning, do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures you may have during your visit at Battersea Hall. From time to time, as you read along, you will be asked to make a choice. Your choice may lead to success or disaster. The adventures you take are a result of your choice. You are responsible because you choose. After you make your choice, follow the instructions to see what happens to you next. Think carefully before you make your move. Battersea Hall is full of terrors. The moors around you are desolate. One mistake could be your last. Good luck! Oh, hi, Rob. Timmy Sullivan, age 9, is hack. Yeah. Was that one of them, Timmy Sullivan? Read 5 different stories. Yikes. That's a lot. That's a lot of stories. All right. One day you get a letter from England. It's from a distant cousin of yours, a girl named Amanda Fielding. Amanda is the same age as you. She's interested in knowing what life is like in America, and you start a regular correspondence with her. Your mother and father don't know much about that particular branch of the family, except that they are supposed to be quite wealthy. But through Amanda's letters, you learn that she's an orphan, her parents having disappeared under mysterious circumstances when she was a baby, and that she's being raised by her grandmother. You get the feeling that she is lonely, so when you get an invitation to visit her at Battersea Hall in Devon, England, you're eager to go. Included with the invitation is a plane ticket to London. There's also a train ticket from London to Witherford, the closest town to Battersea Hall. Since summer vacation is coming up and Amanda's family seems prepared to pay for your trip, your parents agree to let you go. And before you know it, you're off. Alright, and there we are. I guess like on our bed in our room, looking at some letters. Money. We get all the money and then we just like sell the tickets and use the money for other things all summer long. And we never go to Battersea Hall. Go on to the next page. After several hours on the train from London, you arrive at Witherford. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm just assuming it's spelled that way. In the heart of the English moorlands. It is just after dark when you get off the train. The station is deserted and half hidden in fog and drizzle. A man gets off the train with you, and the two of you stand there for a few moments without speaking, watching the train go off into the night. Then the man speaks. Now here we are. Just got off the train. There's the strange man there. Looks like he's dressed like Sherlock Holmes. Nice feathered hat. Nice feathered hair we have. Yeah. Have fun. Yeah. Have fun, kiddo. See you whenever. The stranger offers us some candy if we go for a ride in his car. Turn to page 5. Excuse me. Are you perhaps waiting for a car from the Fieldings? He asks. Yes, I am, you answer. Are you going to visit them too? I am indeed, says the man, holding out his hand. My name is Horace Atwood. I'm an agent for the National Trust. I'm here to try to persuade them to open up Battersea Hall to the public as an historical landmark. Did something really important happen there, you ask? Quite, says Mr. Atwood. Battersea Hall was a major Cavalier stronghold. Cavalier, you ask? Ah, I see you are an American, says Mr. Atwood. Let me explain, then. The Cavaliers, who were loyal to King Charles I, and the rebellious Puritans, led by Oliver Cromwell, were the two sides in our Civil War. That was in 1642. A large number of Cavaliers were massacred in a surprise attack by the Puritans on Battersea Hall. That was really a long time ago, you say. Yes, but the local people still talk about it, answers Mr. Atwood. They even say there's a curse on Battersea Hall, though I'm not exactly sure what the curse is supposed to be. You're about to explain why you're visiting when a huge, bent form looms out of the fog. Uh-oh. Hi, Sue. Excuse me. As the figure approaches, it shrinks down to a short, almost gnome-like creature. The size had been a projection of the station lights in the fog. I'm Blope. The car for Battersea Hall is over here, says the little man, as he starts back into the fog again. You and Mr. Atwood hurry to follow. The car is a tiny English one. As you and Mr. Atwood squeeze yourselves inside, the wind seems to rise. A heavy burst of rain falls from the sky and rakes the car. It's been going on like this for 3 days now, says the driver. The car sets off into the foggy, rainy darkness. You've been driving for 10 minutes or so, when suddenly a spot of pulsating red light begins to form and grow brighter on the road up ahead. Here we are, going with the driver. Looks like he's on the up and up, for sure. I think we can trust him. Turn to page 14. Blope. Yeah, Blope sounds like a gnome. Sounds like a gnome. Actually, that's the type of character I play in Dungeons and Dragons is a gnome. So maybe I should have named him Blope. All right. I was going to page. I forgot what page we were going to here. Page 14. Okay. What is that? You exclaim. Then a police car, takes shape in the beam of your headlights. A policeman steps out of the mist, the rain beating down on his cap and shoulders. He steps up to the car and shines his flashlight inside, blinding you for a moment. Blope rolls down his window a crack. Everything all right? Blope asks. Thank you for stopping, says the policeman, shouting over the sound of the rain. There are 2 escapees from Dartmoor Prison on the loose, and we're checking all cars in and out of the area. May I ask where you're going on a night like this? To Battersea Hall, says the driver. But I must warn you that the river Tavy is in torrent. The road ahead is flooded in spots. I'm not too sure about the bridge. I advise you to go back to town and spend the night at the inn. Of course, you can go on if you want to. I'll leave it up to you two, says Blope, looking at you and Mr. Atwood. Mr. Atwood also looks at you questioningly. What do you think? He asks. If you decide to keep going towards Battersea Hall, turn to page 42. If you decide to return to Witherford, turn to page 16. Yeah, let's ask the kid. He's got all the answers. They'll just use their ESP. Blope. Blope. So should we continue on to Battersea Hall or return to Witherford? I mean, we able to just like drive right off the bridge. That would be cool. Battersea? Beth thinks we should just continue on to Battersea. Okay. I honestly I don't think I've read this book, so I did not. I mean, I didn't read it recently, and I don't think I ever read it, so I don't remember anything that's supposed to happen in this. Driving quickly is best. That's true. If we just drive right off the bridge and right into the river, that should finish us off pretty quickly. Yeah, I guess maybe we'll continue on to Battersea. Battersea, okay. Let's keep going. Going to Battersea. I've come a long way, you say, and I'd like to get to Battersea Hall tonight if I can. That may not be easy, says Blope, but I'm game to try it if you want. The driver waves to the policeman, gives a polite salute and farewell. You pull off into the rain again. The headlights of the car stab only a short way in the darkness before they're swallowed up in the mist and rain. The car heads steadily downhill. After a while, you begin to hear a roaring that's even louder than the noise of the car or the rain. What's that, you ask? It's the River Tabby, in full flood, I'm afraid, says Blope. Must be quite a torrent to sound like that. If we can get across the bridge up ahead, we'll be all right. From the feel of the car, I say we've got a foot deep of water under us right now. As if in response to the driver's words, the motor of the car begins to sputter and cough, then dies completely. Ooh. Turn to page 45. Looks like we've reached the end of the line, says Mr. Atwood. What do we do now, you ask? Well, we can slosh up ahead and try to cross the bridge on foot, says Blope. I doubt if the bridge is really in any danger. It's seen many a storm and flood in its day. The rain seems to have settled down to a drizzle, says Mr. Atwood. How far is it from the bridge to Battersea Hall? I'd say it's about an hour's walk, Blope answers, though it's hard to say in this fog. I have me torch in the car, for all the good it'll do us. Sounds like a mighty hike, you say. Well, we can stay here in the car until daylight, suggests Blope. If you decide to set out in the dark for Battersea Hall, turn to page 56. If you decide to stay in the car until morning, when I guess we all know that torch is British for flashlight. We all know that, yeah. Yeah, these are all terrible options. I don't think we should stay in the car. 1 foot of water under the car? Yeah, that is a lot. I agree. Yeah, let's hike in the dark through the rain, or just stay in the car. Maybe we'll get like flooded inside the car. So we should hike for an hour. So Beth thinks we should hike for an hour. Stephanie, yeah, we should. And Valerie says we shouldn't stay in the car. So overall, the options, they're both bad options, but maybe setting out for Battersea Hall would be the better of the two bad options. Guess we'll, all right, we'll set out to hike. Okay, Sue. Looks like the majority want to hike to Battersea Hall. We will do that. I don't think I can face being cooped up in this tiny car all night, you say. Mr. Atwood agrees. The three of you step out into the darkness and the water swirling around the car. You sink in up to your knees. The water is much colder than you had expected. Blope turns on his flashlight. The light doesn't penetrate very far into the fog, but it does give a reassuring beam for you all to follow. The roaring of the river is nearby, and very loud. Stick close by, shouts Blope over the noise. It won't do for any of us to get separated. If the water gets too deep, we'll have to go back to the car. You wonder what he means by too deep. Up to your waist? Up to your neck? Soon the water is up to your waist. You are about to suggest going back when suddenly it starts getting shallower. Then you are out of it completely, and you feel a paved path under your feet. The bridge. The bridge seems all right, shouts Blope, walking ahead. You can barely hear him over the roar of the river. And now you can also hear loud banging sounds, like small explosions. You run to catch up with Blope and manage to grab his arm. What's that horrible noise, you shout? Go on to the next page. Boulders in the river, being thrown together by the current, he shouts back in your ear. Best we be getting across this bridge as quickly as we can. He starts across at a fast pace. You have to run to keep up with him. You hope Mr. Atwood is still behind you. Then your feet go into the water again as you reach the other side of the bridge. Blope's spot of light is moving rapidly away. Hey, don't go so fast, you shout. Then you hear a muffled cry up ahead, and the light disappears completely. Turn to page 22. Oh, sounds like something bad happened to Blope. Guess that's a big note for Blope. You stop in your tracks. Mr. Atwood runs into you in the dark, almost knocking you down. I can't see where he went, you shout. I can't either, Mr. Atwood shouts back. I guess we'll just have to keep going in the direction of where we last saw his light. Right, and we better hold on to each other, you shout. Take the end of this scarf, says Mr. Atwood, putting it into your hand. The two of you start off. The water rises well above your waist, and the current almost sweeps you off your feet before you reach higher ground. You stumble along for a while. The ground is covered with slippery mud in some places, and sharp, jagged rocks in others. You start climbing up the side of a hill. The sound of the river below is not so loud now, but its roar is being replaced by the rumble of thunder in the distance. We've lost the road, all right, says Mr. Atwood. And Blope, you say. I hope he's okay. We should look for a house or some kind of shelter, says Mr. Atwood. The fog seems to be blowing away, but I don't like the sound of that thunder. Yeah, it does sound like we're going to drown. I don't know, yeah, are we carrying our luggage through all this? I'm not sure. Yeah, boulders? That doesn't make any sense. Boulders in the river? All right, turn page 26. Okay. I woke up last night to the sound of thunder. Started humming a song from 1962. The thunder was really loud last night. True story. Okay. Finally, you reach the top of the hill. The storm has come closer, and now bolts of lightning are crashing nearby. I don't like the idea of our being out here in the open with that lightning, says Mr. Atwood. That last flash lit up what looks like a pile of big stones just down on the other side of this hill. There might be some shelter there. Or we could go back down the way we came up and try to find the road. What do you think? He asks. Man, how come all the adults are always asking us kids what to do? You'd almost think that we were the star of the story. If you think you should try to find shelter among the large stones, turn to page 98. If you think it might be better to try to find the road, turn to page 69. No, I don't think we're ever going to find our cousin. Nope. I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's like trying to find that shark. Another story. Try to find shelter. Give me shelter. Find the road. That's one vote for find the road, one vote for shelter. Road. Another vote for road. Still mad about the shark. I know. No, Stephanie, we never found the shark. All right. I guess we'll try to find the road. Page 69. I think we should go down and try to find the road, you say. It must lead to Battersea Hall. The wind rises and clears away the fog. Now there's a pale glow over the countryside. It helps you to thread your way back down the hill. As you descend, you see 2 points of light, headlights in the distance, moving towards the bridge. Whatever vehicle they belong to goes right up and over the bridge. The headlights bear down on you just as you reach the road. You and Mr. Atwood wave your hands for the vehicle to stop. When it does, you see that it's a Land Rover. 2 policemen jump out. One of them is the officer who warned you about driving in the storm. You hope he doesn't say, "I told you so." "Thank God you two are all right," he says. "We spotted your car abandoned back there on the road. Later we found your driver, half drowned. He'd stepped into a hole and gone under the water for a bit. He's all right, though. He was afraid that you had been swept away by the river." "Can you get us to Battersea Hall," you ask. "The road between here and there is washed out," says the officer. "I still think you should go back to town and try again in the morning." If you decide to follow the officer's advice this time and go back to town, turn to page 112. If you still want to keep going to Battersea Hall, turn to page 96. What if it's giving us like one more chance to go back to town? And if we don't take it this time, we definitely end up drowning? Well, we can find out. So keep going to Battersea Hall. Yeah, the author really does want us to wait, Beth. I agree. Really don't want us to get to Battersea Hall. I think they just want us to stay in town the whole time. I forget the name of the town. They haven't mentioned it in a while. So, Whittingfield or Whitfield or something like that. Keep going to Battersea. Listening to police officers and other adults never helps. I think back in the 80s it was supposed to help. But it's in the title, go there, okay. Alright. We're going to Battersea Hall. Going from page 69 to page 96. You and Mr. Atwood head for Battersea Hall in the darkness, often walking up to your knees in the water on the road. After a while, the wind starts to blow. You look up to see a bright moon suddenly racing through the dark clouds. Then a tall, dark tower looms up ahead. As you get closer, a warm wind with a strange perfume seems to blow down from the towers. You both begin to feel lightheaded and dizzy. You hear a hysterical laugh from somewhere above. "I am glad you walked into my little trap," a cackling voice says. "I sense that my servant Blope has left me for good. I have no more power over him, but you two will take his place as servants of Lady Darkness." You and Mr. Atwood turn and try to run, but your feet feel like lead, and after a few more steps you turn obediently and walk through the door at the base of the tower. The end. Well, that was kind of sudden. That was just came out of nowhere. Okay. Yeah, I guess this time the adult was right. See, it's the 1980s. It's a 1980s era choose your own adventure book. We're supposed to actually trust the police. I know. It sounds crazy, but that's how they were written. Yeah, we didn't drown. We became minions of Lady Darkness. Doesn't sound so bad. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a bad ending, Beth, but we don't know what we're actually going to be doing for Lady Darkness. It might be something cool. I mean, yeah, her name sounds kind of scary, but, you know. Alright, so I guess we should take the officer's advice then and go back to town. Maybe that's an ending too. We just head back to town and then go back home. When you get back to Witherford, you and Mr. Atwood find separate rooms at the local inn. You are so tired that everything is a blur as you stagger up to your room and fall into bed. Late the next morning, after a good night's sleep, you wake up with the sunlight from the window warm on your face. You are just getting out of bed when there's a loud knock at the door. "Who's there?" you call. "It's Blope, it is," comes the reply. You rush to the door and pull it open. Are you all right, you ask? For a while I thought you were a goner for sure, after you disappeared in the fog. I thought so myself, says Blope. Have you seen Mr. Atwood, you ask? I went to see him first thing this morning, answers Blope. Told him of all the evil goings on at Battersea Hall, I did. You stare at him uncomprehendingly. These two witches up at the hall. That Lady Darkness and the other one pretending to be Miss Amanda's grandmother, Blope explains. When I was plucked from the river last night, I was already dead for all intents and purposes. So when the police brought me back with mouth to mouth and all that, it broke the witch's spell. Okay, go on to the next page. That afternoon, the police raid Battersea Hall and rescue Amanda. You watch from a distance. They find no trace of Lady Darkness or the imposter grandmother. You spend a few days with your cousin before returning to the States. You and Amanda continue to exchange letters, and after a few months, she writes you that Blope has gotten married and settled down in Witherford. Soon afterward, Amanda goes to live with him. What? You are happy that everything worked out well for everybody. The end. Wait, so Blope got married, just doesn't say anything about who he married, and then she moved in with him and his new wife. Wait, hold on a second. Moved in with this guy. Isn't that Blope? I don't know about that. She's their ward. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, we didn't get killed. Yeah, it's a good ending, but I agree. That does feel a bit rushed. Let's see. Alright, so maybe, should we try to return to Witherford the first time they told us to return to Witherford? Yeah, these endings are pretty regular. They're not. She answered a personals ad and it just happened to be Blope's. I mean, yeah, this is the 80s, so it would have been an actual personal ad. It was in the want ads. Well, this is England, so I don't know if they had the want ads. If you like pina colada. Getting caught in the rain. Well, they did get caught in the rain. Alright, so maybe we'll, I guess we'll return to Witherford when we had our chance. Does that sound good? I don't know, that ending just felt kind of rushed, and like we never encountered Lady Darkness. I wanted to like actually get to Battersea Hall. We never actually did that. Alright, so we'll head back for now. As you return to Witherford, the rain begins to slacken. Your car pulls up in front of the Elephant's Trunk Inn. Okay. You and Mr. Atwood, bags in hand, followed by the driver, dash inside. You're in luck, says the innkeeper. I have 2 small single rooms left. But there are 3 of us, you say. Don't worry about it, says Blope. I'm staying the night with a friend nearby. The innkeeper goes off to get the rooms ready. I guess you'll call the Fieldings and tell them what happened, you say to Blope. Oh, sorry. That's us. I guess you'll call the Fieldings and tell them what happened, you say to Blope. You mean by telephone, he asks. There'll be no phones in Battersea Hall, not while Lady Darkness is alive. Lady Darkness, you say? Aye, says Blope. She's Miss Amanda's great-great-grandmother. A strange name she has, but the Darknesses are the mother's side of the family. Great-great-grandmother, you say? That at least. She still rules Battersea Hall. Not that I see much of her. What with her keeping to herself up in the tower, says Blope. I'm beginning to get the feeling that this family is a little strange, you say. What makes you think that? It's just, yeah, he's staying with his girlfriend. He's staying with the person that he marries later on. Here we are, the innkeeper showing us into the inn. Okay. He's like smoking a weird looking pipe. So, someone named Lady Darkness Oh, because like lady, like lords and ladies. Okay. All right. That they are, says Blope. All except Miss Amanda. She's a fine one, and she's looking forward to your visit. I'll be picking you up in the morning. If you need me before then, just go to the house at the end of the lane and ask for me. With that, the driver disappears back into the rain. Now the innkeeper is back. Will you two be turning in for the night, or would you care for some refreshments down here in the pub, he asks. I think I'll go to bed now, says Mr. Atwood. I will too. I'm really tired, you say. But surely you don't want to miss spending an evening in an English pub, exclaims the innkeeper. If you decide to go to bed, turn to page 61. If you decide, even though you are tired, to spend some time in the pub, turn to page 25. Keep thinking we're saying lock? Oh, loke? Oh, instead of blope? He said, yeah, so now we know about Lady Darkness. I mean, she's a lady because that's like a title. And her last name just happens to be Darkness, I guess. But great-grandmother, like that, they have to be like 120 years old. Or maybe people just got, maybe people had kids really early back then. So, yeah, 12-year-old, let's go to the bar. Does anyone think we should go to the bar, or should we just turn in for the night? Who knows, maybe we'd find some important clues in the bar. I think we're like we're supposed to be like a 12-year-old girl, too. Or, I mean, this is the 80s, so I think we're drawn as being a girl, but could just be a boy with long hair. To the bar. Always go to the pub. I think we'll go to the bar. It sounds like that's what people want to do. When I say a lot, I mean two people. Get the Shirley Temple, right. Alright. You walk into the pub and sit down. You're an American, someone says to you. Here for a holiday. I'm on my way to visit Battersea Hall, you answer. There is a sudden silence in the pub. Everyone turns to look at you. I wouldn't be going there if I were you, someone says after a moment. Not everyone who goes there comes back. That's true, says another. You're taking your life in your hands to go near that place. You sit there for a few minutes, thinking about what you've heard, or what you've just heard. Maybe you'd better tell Mr. Atwood. You go upstairs to Mr. Atwood's room and knock on the door. There's no answer. You knock harder. Still no answer. That last knock should have made anybody wake up. You try the doorknob. It turns, and the door opens. You go inside. It's very dark. Mr. Atwood, it's me. I hate to bother you, but... A flash of lightning outside suddenly illuminates the room. The bed is empty. You switch on the light. Mr. Atwood is gone. The whole thing where, like, you see, I'm going to Battersea Hall, and, like, everyone stops talking suddenly. It reminds me of that movie, An American Werewolf in London. When he, like, asks what the pentagram in the bar is for, and suddenly, like, everyone stops talking. It's like, we don't talk about that. Turn to page 31. You run downstairs and ask the innkeeper if he saw Mr. Atwood leave. Has the gentleman gone, then? That's very strange, says the innkeeper. I took him up to his room myself. He said good night and closed the door. You go to bed, but tired as you are, you lie awake thinking about the curse Mr. Atwood mentioned earlier, and about what they told you in the pub. And where is Mr. Atwood? You don't really get to sleep until just before dawn. The next thing you know, you're startled awake by a loud pounding on your door. Turn to page 30. Wait, 30? We're going back a page. That's weird. Okay. So we're going from page 31 to 30, which is the page next to it. Okay. It's the driver, Blope. Well, believe him whenever you're ready, he shouts. You suddenly remember last night. Have you seen Mr. Atwood? You call out through the door. Can't find him this morning, answers Blope. You'll just have to start without him. you hurry into your clothes. After a quick breakfast in the pub, you start off with Blope towards Battersea Hall, this time into a bright, sunny day. Do you know anything about people disappearing near Battersea Hall? You ask Blope. Lies, all lies, he says. The townsfolk are a bunch of superstitious fools. It's all a coincidence. What's a coincidence, you ask? Well, a coincidence is like where two unrelated things happen and you think they're related, but they're not. No, I'm just kidding. Let me put it this way, answers Blope. A lot of people who visit Battersea Hall don't stay very long. They sometimes leave quicker than they come. Then the townsfolk mostly see them coming and think they vanished. Makes sense, don't it? I guess, you say, trying to figure that one out. Yeah, can't find my friend. Oh wait, scrambled eggs. I'm hungry. Got a spot of the crust of the darkness, do you, Governor? Morning, super. Morning, wonderful. And I think this is like the first time I've gone like from one page on the right to the other page on the left. It's like that I'm reading like some manga or something. 38. Blope soon turns off the main road and, after crossing a stone bridge over a still turbulent river, goes up a steep hill. He stops in front of a small, dilapidated cottage. This is Battersea Hall, you ask? No, says Blope. This is as close as I'm allowed to go with the car. Lady Darkness don't allow any of those modern things into their valley. The hall don't even have electricity, just oil lamps and candles. You look at the heavily wooded valley below you. Way on the other side of it, high up, stretches a barren plateau as far as you can see. This old cottage is used as a stable, says Blope. There's a carriage over behind it, and the houses are inside. We can hitch them up and use the carriage, or we can just walk down. This book is like assembling an IKEA bookshelf. I know. It's like taking forever to get there. Yikes. If you think it would be fun to take the carriage down, turn to page 4. If you'd rather walk down, turn to page 74. Yeah, going to a small dilapidated cottage. I'm sure there's a great carriage there. Oh yeah, okay. Lady Darkness is allergic to electricity. Yeah, it seems like it. Take the carriage. Carriage, okay. Anyone else think we should walk down? I mean, just the carriage. What could go wrong? Carriage, that's right. I want my money's worth. We're taking the carriage. For some reason I'm thinking at the beginning of Skyrim where like you wake up and you're in a carriage. It's like, good, you're awake. This is when it finally starts. The carriage seems like a great way to arrive at Battersea Hall. Blope goes into the cottage and leads out 2 gray horses, which he quickly hitches to the carriage. You climb aboard, and off you go down the hill. The path is no more than a wide, deep rut worn into the earth by centuries of iron-shod wheels. It is still running with water from last night's storm. Soon you reach the level part of the valley and drive into thick woods. Suddenly the carriage pulls up in front of the hall. Heavy granite walls loom up like the sides of a fortress or an old castle. 2 wings spread from a central tower. At the base of the tower is a huge arched gateway, locked with heavy iron bars. Through the bars you can see an inner courtyard. It looks more like a prison than a house, heavy and foreboding. Come along, says Blope. I'll tell Miss Amanda that you are here. You follow him to the far side of the house. The family uses only the east wing for their apartments, he says. The rest of the house, except for the tower, hasn't been used for over 300 years, not since the Puritans attacked. You enter the house through a heavy oak door that opens into a large, almost empty room. Blope goes back out. The door closes behind him with an ominous thud. Then an equally massive door, on the other side of the room, begins to open with a squeal of ancient hinges. Into page 12. Yeah, it looks like a prison. Let's go in. Sounds great. You stand open-mouthed as a small, pale girl in a wheelchair pushes through the door. Even though you know from her letters that Amanda is the same age as you, this girl looks younger. Hello, I'm Amanda, and you must be my cousin from America. I'm so glad to see you, she says in a musical voice. Behind her is an enormous greyhound. Even on all fours, he's as high as she is. This is my dog, Baskerville, says Amanda. You're about to say hello to Baskerville when he runs back through the door. The first thing we must decide on is where you are going to sleep, says Amanda. There is a small room right next to mine, where you'd be welcome. But we have plenty of big private rooms if you would like one of those. You're tempted by the idea of a huge, magnificent room all to yourself. On the other hand, this place is so spooky that it might be better to stay near Amanda, especially at night. If you decide to sleep in the small room next to Amanda's, turn to page 59. If you decide to take a bigger room, turn to page 27. The Baskerville is a hound, yeah. He's a hound of the Baskervilles. Makes sense. Oh, instead of being the hound of the Baskervilles, he's the Baskerville of the hounds. Stay near Amanda. Next to Amanda. Yeah, why would we not want to stay next to Amanda? What if she needs help? Not that she would necessarily need more help than anyone else just because she's in a wheelchair. I'm not saying that. But, you know, that's a scary place. And, you know, Lady Darkness and all that. Amanda hug and kiss. Is I'm looking for Amanda? Amanda hug and kiss? Is there Amanda hug and kiss here? Oh, and there's a close-up of Amanda and her dog, Baskerville. All right. You don't want to seem too picky. You tell Amanda that the little room next to hers will be perfect. Splendid! Exclaims Amanda. She spends the rest of the day showing you around. That evening, you have dinner with Amanda and her grandmother, a stern-looking woman who seems to ignore you. Both you and Amanda go to bed early that night. You fall asleep quickly. Late in the night, something wakes you. The door to Amanda's room, just across from your bed, is partly open, and you see a strange light moving around in her room. You slip out of bed, go over to the door, and peek in. Amanda, in her long nightgown, is beside her bed holding a lighted candle. She's not in a wheelchair. She starts walking, as if in a trance, towards a door on the other side of the room. You follow in the dim light, down a corridor, up a flight of stairs, then down another long corridor. Up ahead, you hear voices and laughter. Oh, here we are. What's going on? Yeah, it does sound like she's being held against her will. She literally lives with Lady Darkness. Yeah, in case we'd forgotten. This place looks super spooky. Yeah. I would not look at these things. I would not want to stay there. No way. All right, page 62. Amanda slips through a small door. Carefully, you peek through the doorway. Inside, Amanda is standing on a small balcony overlooking a brightly lit and lavishly decorated hall. Down below, on the far side, groups of people coming in. What? Down below on the far side, groups of people coming in. Is that like a complete sentence? Is that a complete sentence? Okay. Is this a costume party? The men are dressed in purple jackets with wide lace collars. Below this, their breeches are tucked into tall, soft, tight-fitting boots. As they enter, they take off their multi-plumed hats. The women are dressed in floor-length, flowing dresses of satin with tight bodices. There is a murmur of conversation and laughter everywhere. Is this a scene from, like, Eyes Wide Shut? Like, probably not. Yeah. Yeah, that is not a complete sentence. Thank you, Stephanie. She's heading to the Muppet Show. Uh-oh. She's going to light the lights pretty soon. And play the music. Suddenly a servant runs in screaming and falls limp on the floor. There was a loud cry of anguish from all those in the hall below. Roundheads, people gasp. Then a band of men dressed in dark, tight leather uniforms and steel helmets rushes inside, their swords slashing. They're cutting the revelers down. Turn to page 66. The Phantom of the Opera is there inside your mind. Oh. With a cry, Amanda darts back into the corridor and runs right past you. You run after her, following in the darkness as best you can. When she reaches the stairway, she trips and falls. You can hear her tumbling over and over. You grope your way down and find her crumpled up at the bottom of the stairs. Amanda, are you all right, you say? I think so, she answers, managing to pull herself up to a sitting position. But my leg, it won't move again. You help her to stand, but she cannot walk on her own. You help her get down the hall towards her room. Then you hear voices in the darkness ahead. It's Blope and my grandmother, Amanda whispers. You're about to call out to them when she puts her hand over your mouth. Quiet! Where are they? You hear a voice snap. We're supposed to deliver both of them to Lady Darkness tonight. Don't worry, I'll find them, says Blope. Then you hear them hurrying off in the other direction. What did all that mean, you ask? It means that if we don't escape from Battersea Hall tonight, we won't live until morning. How can we escape, you ask? We can't get far if you can't walk. If you keep helping me the way you did just now, Amanda says, we have a chance. This way, quickly. You support her while she hobbles down a small, dark passageway, and then down a circular stairway to a door that lets you outside. This way, she says, pointing. The two of you go on like this for many minutes, getting more exhausted all the time. Maybe you should hide in the woods while I go off for help, you say, panting for breath. I'd like to keep going, she says, but I'll let you decide. Oh, they always let us decide. If we decide to leave Amanda and go for help, turn to page 90. Super tight. I know everyone had like tight outfits, like tight bodices, tight leather, really tight. I mean, just tight in certain places, maybe. I don't know. That's how it was back in, the Renaissance or something. So if we decide to leave Amanda and go for help, turn to page 90. If you decide that the two of you should stay together, turn to page 92. Yeah, Amanda wants to stay together, so stay with Amanda. Let's do it. 92. You and Amanda keep going, using every last ounce of your strength. Then you hear a strange, but somehow familiar, sound off to one side of the trail. Could that be a sound of a gypsy violin? You ask? Okay. I didn't know that was a thing. We don't call them gypsies anymore, though. Don't we call them, wouldn't it be a Roma violin now? Okay. It could be, says Amanda. I've often heard Blope and her grandmother talking about the gypsies around here. I don't know if I trust them. They might have dealings with Lady Darkness. Okay. Wow. I knew we'd encounter something questionable at some point, so it's only a matter of time. It's either facing the gypsies or going straight ahead, you say. I don't know. Should we... The gypsies sound dangerous. I don't know if we can... I don't know if we wanted... I don't know if we could trust them. If you decide to trust the gypsies, turn to page 116. If you decide to rest ahead before going... If you decide to rest a while before going straight ahead, turn to page 99. Maybe they mean gypsy like the Fleetwood Mac song. Wasn't Gypsy a Fleetwood Mac song? So it's like gypsy in a good way. The writer needs to stop. I know. Stop here. Well, that was a good story. That was a good ending. And we got out of the castle and everything was fine. I don't feel comfortable doing the option that involves distrusting gypsies. Yeah, this like turned into like a episode of Borat or something. Yikes. Okay. Like, as in like we're like siding with Borat. So like not in a good way. So yeah, I guess we should trust the gypsies. Page 116. I know it's a tough choice. But I don't think we would want to do the other option, right? Okay. You and Amanda struggle towards the sound of gypsy music. Finally, you reach a clearing in the woods. There you see a band of gypsies sitting around a campfire. As you pull yourselves into the light, the music stops. The gypsies stare at you in amazement. One of the men runs over, picks up Amanda, and carries her to his wagon. Then he comes back and beckons you to sit with him by the fire. The women will look after her, he says. She will be strong again. She will even be able to walk. How do you know that? You ask. The gypsy does not answer, but sits staring into the fire. Finally, if you said to face the people who are more tan than you, turn the page. I think we can trust them. How do you know all that? You ask. The gypsy does not answer, but sits staring into the fire. Finally he speaks. My name is Niccolo. 2 years ago, I was captured by that evil witch Lady Darkness. That evil witch, Lady Darkness. Somehow I managed to escape. My mind has been clouded for these past 2 years. Now I have recovered my memory, and now I will have my revenge. He takes a strange-smelling packet from his shirt. At dawn, I am going down to Battersea Hall, he says. I will take my magic herbs and potions with me. We gypsies can weave curses of our own, and our magic is older by far than Battersea Hall. When I am done with them, those 2 witches will shrivel away. Go on to the next page. Everything Niccolo predicts comes true. The witches are destroyed, and Blope is freed from the spell he was under. He turns out to be a nice guy after all. The National Trust sends a caretaker family for the hall. The family also agrees to raise Amanda. You return to America, but you will certainly never forget that visit. The end. So I guess that was a happy ending. Yeah, gypsies do curses. The magical people of color are nice. True. They're magical. As they always are when they're magical. Yep. Oh man. So I guess that's a good ending. You can see he's got a pouch with some magic herbs. Yeah. And he's, I don't know, he still looks kind of shifty though. Yeah, they really went all out to draw him like that. He's actually a nice guy. I'm reminded that that movie Chocolat wasn't like the people that like arrived on boats and stuff. Yeah, he does have, he does have shifty eyes. So I guess I guess just trust the gypsies. You can see what happens if we do that. If you decide to rest, okay, so we're going to decide to rest a while before we go straight ahead. Does he have a joint behind his ear? I don't think so, Rob. I think it's supposed to be a. Oh, maybe he does. I don't know. It's hard to it's hard to tell. Like maybe we just thought they were gypsies and they actually weren't. They were just. Yeah. That might be. I think that might be part of his hat or something, but I don't. It could be. Oh man. That is a joint. We've it's a gypsy joint. Just found some stoners in the woods is all. Exactly. We just thought they were gypsies. They actually weren't. I really got to stop saying the word gypsies. Hopefully, we'll go to page 99 and then hopefully won't have to say, uh-oh. You and Amanda sleep for a few hours before you continue on the trail. When you wake up, you start out with new courage. You don't know it, but you are heading straight into the most desolate and dangerous part of the moors. Few have ventured onto its vast, foggy wastes and found their way out again. It's unlikely that you will either. That's cool. I like that drawing. It's pretty cool. Like, the hair looks pretty cool. Wow, I guess so. It's kind of cool. Yeah, we'll just say Roma from now on. Yeah, good plan. That was a decent ending, but Maybe we'll try an ending that does not involve... Should we maybe try leaving Amanda and going for help? I don't know what the dog's doing in that drawing. Should we just like magically skip to that dog and just see what happens? Oh, okay, here we go. So if we leave Amanda and go for help. So say we leave Amanda and we go for help. Okay. We don't, yeah. Here we are. Here's the dog. You try to hurry through the woods. You're worried about leaving Amanda behind. You are not sure which way to go, and soon you're completely lost. Darkness closes down around you. Then you hear a strange panting close by, and the dark form of a huge animal looms behind you. It springs, and you're about to die of fright when the animal starts to lick your face. It's Baskerville, Amanda's dog. Well, that's a much better turn in the story. Baskerville leads you to the road and then bounds back towards Battersea Hall. You walk towards Witherford. On the road, you run into Mr. Atwood with the police. Amanda is in terrible danger, you cry. I know, says Mr. Atwood. I went to the Battersea Hall the other night in the storm while you were sleeping. They tried locking me into a room, but I had my escape gear in my bag, and I managed to force the door and escape from the house. On the way back, I got lost in the woods. When I finally got back to town, you'd already left with Lope, but now we must hurry. I guess everyone in England just like carries escape gear in their bag just in case they have to escape from a castle or something. So it makes sense. The strange panting is totally regular sound of a dog panting. Yeah, the strange panting sound. Maybe it's the Roma again. Oh yeah, Desolate Moors. That's definitely the Hound of the Baskervilles. Yeah. Yeah. But when I think of the Moors, I again think of sorry, An American Werewolf in London. Maybe because it's near Halloween. Oh, go on to the next page, and then we go to page 86. Okay. Y'all head towards Battersea. Then you see a bright red glow up ahead. When you get a little closer, you realize that Battersea Hall is on fire. You race towards it, but as you arrive at the flaming scene, you see Baskerville racing up the road with Amanda, riding on his back, as if he were a horse. You were never so glad to see anybody in your life. Just then, the tall tower of the hall collapses with a tremendous roar. Did you imagine it? Or did you really see a witch-like form fly across the moon a few seconds later? Cool. No one ever discovers what happened to Lady Darkness, Lope, or the grandmother. Amanda and Baskerville go to live with relatives in London. You write to Amanda often, and the two of you become great friends. The end. You cannot ride a dog like a horse. Well, maybe Amanda's like really tiny, and Baskerville is just a really big dog. Yeah, you're right, Stephanie. English people spend the majority of their time escaping from castles, so they always had to keep escape gear in their bags. Yeah, that was a good ending, Beth. I agree. That was a better ending than like the Roma, like giving us some magic herbs or casting some curses or something. So, well, that's funny. Like we basically had 3 different endings where in each ending, Amanda's like future was like totally different. In one future, she goes to live with relatives in London, and another future. And another possible future, she Blope gets married, and then she goes to live with him and his new wife. And then another one, Battersea Hall doesn't get destroyed, and she lives in Battersea Hall. So, I mean, our lives are pretty much the same after the story ends, but hers are like 3 different endings for her. Nope, dogs move their spines when they walk. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I have to pull the saddle so far forward on the wargs in Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's a movie I haven't seen in a while. Should definitely see that again someday. Yeah, we don't bring her with us. I guess there's not an ending where she comes back to America with us. She just stays in England. Well, this was a fun book. I think I'll stop here. There's more to read for certain, but My voice is a little scratchy today, so need to save my voice. Not that I talk too much at work, but you never know. But yeah, this was except for the thing with the Roma. I'm not going to say the G word anymore. Except for that, it was pretty good. I mean, this is now we're getting to Choose Your Adventure 30, so yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun reading this one. It was good, and I kind of like that it featured a character that, you know, was differently abled. So, but she was still like able to do things in the story. So hi, bye Sue. Thanks, Sue. So yeah, it was good. All right, well, I hope you all enjoyed watching. And Lady D, let's see here. So yeah, so I'm thinking that's got to be Lady Darkness there. Although she looks more like a just plain old witch. Thanks, Stephanie. You're welcome, Stephanie. You're welcome, Beth. Yeah, I'd say that's Lady Darkness. And these are like, what are the Puritans and the Roundheads or the Cavaliers or something? I actually do remember reading about that a while back, and involved like Oliver Cromwell and all that stuff. So, but right, yeah. So I guess I'll stop here, and I'll be back next week to read another Choose Your Own Adventure, and hope you all can make it too. All right. Oh, yeah, Abby. I wish our house looked like this too. I mean, I like the way our house looks, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. Although your house is pretty cool too, so I think it already looks nice. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. And hopefully next week my voice will be back to normal. So, all right, take care, everyone. Bye.